It was a rainy night. I was watching TV series at home. Maybe the lightning affected the power supply, and my home was disconnected from the internet. I had to open the master key and search for nearby networks. I actually saw a Wi-Fi name. I am under the bed in 303. I have never seen it before. The first moment I saw this name, my scalp went numb. Because my home is 303, and at this moment, I was lying on the bed watching TV series. In the middle of the night, one person and one cat were at home. Anyone who saw this sentence suddenly would be shocked. I was so scared that my hands trembled and I actually clicked on this network. When I wanted to quit, it was too late. The master key was unprecedentedly efficient and immediately connected to the internet with full signal. It was very close to me. At the same time, I heard a rustling sound coming from under the bed. I jumped up from the bed suddenly, and my whole body was numb. I didn't dare to look down. Thinking that there was something between me and a mattress at the moment, my first reaction was to run away. But reason forced me to calm down. If there is really someone under the bed, I jump out of the bed, he will immediately grab my legs, and I can't run away anymore. If I stay in bed now, if he dares to climb out, I can jump out of the bed from the opposite direction. It takes a certain amount of time to get out from under the bed, and I can use this time to escape. He is scaring me now, just to make me panic. When I was frantically thinking of a solution on the bed, a meow sound came from under the bed. Mimi? The string in my mind suddenly broke, and I lay down with a sense of relief. A pair of green cat eyes stared at me under the bed. The rustling sound just now was indeed made by this fat cat. It looked at me at this moment, and its hair stood up. It was fine, why did it get stressed? But there was nothing under the bed. I am really neurotic, a prank name can scare me like this. Before I could relax for half a minute, there was a knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. The knocks were slow and mechanical, and there was an inexplicable weirdness in this rainy night. My heart was hanging again. I walked over barefoot. I saw a person standing on the side of the door through the peephole. I couldn't see his face, only half of his figure in a takeaway uniform. The knocks continued. The lights were on at home, and it was impossible to pretend that no one was there. I didn't order takeaway, you went to the wrong place. The man outside was talking in a deep voice. Ms. Gua from 303, last number 8976, is that you? It was indeed my information. Did someone else order it for me? The male voice outside continued, the order address shows this building. I was also a little shaken in my heart, maybe it was really a misunderstanding. What did you order? A serving of brown sugar water. It was indeed ordered by someone who knew me. I had severe menstrual cramps these days, and I was sick, so I had to take leave to rest at home. I didn't even have the energy to attend the crime simulator sharing session. Because I am one of the developers, the meeting was postponed for 2 days. Fortunately, you don't have to open the door to get takeout. Okay, you can put it at the door, thank you. I heard the sound of plastic bags falling outside and waited for several minutes. From the peephole, the voice-activated lights outside were off, and the delivery man should have left. I put my hand on the doorknob and was about to open the door. But I saw the Wi-Fi name tonight, and there was another unknown takeout in the middle of the night. A feeling of uneasiness enveloped me. I put down the doorknob and turned on my phone. There are 6 households in this building, 4 of which are on the 3rd floor. I am in 303, and 301 and 304 are on the diagonal side. The 3 of us are on one side of the corridor. At the end of the corridor are 302 on both sides, and their peepholes can see the entire corridor. I sent a message to the residents group. At 302 Tiandao, are you asleep? Can you help me see if there is anyone at my door? Put your hands together. I got a response soon. 302 Tiandao, is your peephole broken? I didn't explain much and admitted it directly. 302 was very straightforward and replied to me after a while, no one, but there is a takeaway on the ground. I breathed a sigh of relief, it seems that I thought too much. Thank you, brother. Just when I was about to open the door to get the takeaway, my phone rang with a reminder. It was 301 who was opposite me who sent me a friend request. Reason for application: don't trust 302. There is a girl living diagonally opposite, her WeChat nickname is Maine, and we have never contacted each other. At this time, such a shocking message was suddenly sent. I quickly agreed to her application and asked, "What happened?" 301, like me, can't see the whole corridor. Why did she say that? 301 Maine, it was 8 o'clock tonight, and it was raining heavily when I went out. I met 302 Tiandao, who was out downstairs. I just came back half an hour ago, and the door of 302 is very clean. In the past half hour, I didn't hear anyone opening the door next to me. After reading this sentence, I felt a chill on my back. This is an old residential building, with many muddy construction sites nearby. Although the conditions are average, I have been living here since it was a relic left to me by my mother. In such heavy rain, my shoes must be wet and dirty after going out, and there must be marks on the corridor. Even if the water can evaporate, the mud stains cannot. 301 is on my side, closest to 302, so it is possible to discover this. All this information put together. Could it be that 302 did not come back all night? Then why did he say in the group that there was no one in the corridor? At this time I stood by the door, and my mind became extremely focused and thinking. Suddenly, I heard a slight breathing sound. This sound was in my ears, like an electric current, which made me tremble all over. I lay on the security door, very slowly. I heard a strange breath, just on the other side of the door. The sound was very low. It was the delivery man just now. He didn't leave at all. He squatted at my door, waiting for me to open the door. I covered my mouth tightly, held my breath, and dared not make a sound. I opened my phone with trembling hands and wanted to call the police. I realized that when I was listening to the noise just now, 304 asked me several questions in the group. 304 Bowsy, at 303 Fireworks, do you want your takeaway? At 303 Fireworks, I heard you didn't open the door. If you don't want it, give it to me. I'm really hungry. I was about to reply to him not to go out, and suddenly I heard the door across the street open with a creak. It's 304 Bowsy's house. He didn't even wait for my reply, and opened the door to get it directly, but it's not surprising, because 204 and 403 got married before, and they put wedding candies in the elevator. 304 Bowsy actually took them all away. We all know that he is a person who likes to take advantage of small things. I was anxious and didn't know what the purpose of the person outside was. But before I could think more, I heard a scream when 304 opened the door. Ah! I held the wall next to me and immediately looked out through the cat's eye. The voice-activated light was also on, but from my perspective, there was nothing outside. No delivery man, number 304 Bowsy. There were thunders outside, and the rain was getting heavier, as if it could drown out all the sounds. Woo! I turned around and saw Mimi breathing under the bed, looking very nervous. But I had confirmed several times that there was nothing under the bed. Mimi's state made me even more panicked. The sound of a door closing outside drew my attention back. It sounded like 304 Bowsy's home. I immediately turned on my phone and asked 304 in the group chat. Me, at 304 Bowsy, why did you suddenly open the door? Did you see anything outside? 301 Maine, at 304 Bowsy, what the hell are you screaming about? After a long while, 304 replied to the message. I didn't see anything. What the hell are you yelling about? It's too dark in the corridor. I bumped into the electric meter box. The electric meter box on this floor is at my door. It's not placed high, so it's easy to bump into it. 304 Bowsy didn't see anything, so what was the breathing sound I heard behind the door just now? I wanted to talk about this in the group, but for some reason, I opened 301 Maine's dialog box. Sister Maine, just before 304 went out, I heard someone behind the door. 301 replied almost immediately, are you sure? 303 Hanabi, I heard someone's breathing behind the door, but it's not very clear. 301 Main, 304 Bowsy said he didn't hear anything. Either you heard it wrong, or... The following words are self-evident. My heart was beating violently, and a wave of fear swept through my body. 301 Main continued to reply, I'll help you check it now. I typed quickly on the keyboard, don't go out. 301 Main, don't worry, I'm not that stupid. I'll use the small skylight on the door to take pictures for you. Yes. There is a small skylight. I looked up and saw a very small window above the entrance door. It can be opened a little bit inwards. It is impossible for a person to get through, but it is easy to stick out a mobile phone. I didn't even think of this just now. At this time, 301 Main had sent me a video. I immediately turned on the mute after I answered the call. The screen was pitch black. With the light of a safety indicator in the corridor, I could barely see the outline of the corridor. 301 Main turned the phone around, and I saw the entire corridor from the rear camera. No one, no takeout. Nothing. This is still the corridor where I go home every day. Everything that happened just now seemed like an illusion. At this time, I received a private message on WeChat. It was sent by Xiaojing from 204 downstairs. Xiaojing is my only friend in this building. She and 403 Xiaoyong met as neighbors in this building. Xiaojing is a teacher, Xiaoyong is a policeman, and they got married not long ago, but because their rental contract has not expired, they have not moved in together in order to get back their deposit. 204 Xiaojing, I just heard someone calling upstairs, who is it? Me, it's 304 Bowsy. 204 Xiaojing, speaking of Bowsy, the water in his bathroom is always on, making me unable to sleep. In the middle of the night, Bowsy took my brown sugar water and didn't drink it quickly, but ran to take a shower? 204 Xiaojing, no, he takes a shower at 8 o'clock every day, and it has never changed. He takes a shower as soon as I have dinner every day. I remember it very clearly. Xiaojing lives directly below Bowsy. There is a water pipe up and down, and the old residential building has been in disrepair for a long time, so the water use upstairs can be heard clearly downstairs. After Xiaojing heard my story, she pulled Main and me into a small group of 3 people, and also pulled her husband 403 Xiaoyong in. I repeated what I had just said to Main. Everyone, please be careful. It may not be safe in the building now. Don't go out. 204 Xiaojing sent a row of horrified expressions. Too scary, someone sneaked into our building? Me, I'm not sure, the breathing sound just now was also intermittent. 301 Main, I just took a video from the small window, and there was nothing in the corridor. After that, Main posted the video recording of our video just now in the group. Me, I always feel something is strange, so I'd better be more careful. From the Wi-Fi name I searched, the kitten's stress, to the screams of Bowsy in 304, and the water flow in the bathroom. It was like a mess, and I couldn't find the clues accurately from it, but I always felt that there was something key that I overlooked. No one spoke in the group for a while. To be at ease, I looked under the empty bed again. I went to the room and opened all the wardrobe doors, and checked the bathroom and kitchen. All the windows in this building are equipped with anti-theft nets, the anti-theft doors at the entrance are very strong, and the neighbors are awake. This is the safest situation. I repeated these words over and over again, but the feeling of thorn in my side still did not disappear. Someone was talking in the small group. It was Xiaoyong, from 403. He hadn't spoken just now, and I thought he had fallen asleep before me. 403 Xiaoyong, did you find anything wrong with the video in the corridor? He is a policeman, so his observation is naturally better than others. I opened the video recording again. The big screen was the dark corridor, and my small window was in the upper right corner. I watched it several times, and there was nothing special. Me, what's wrong? 403 Xiaoyong, do you think that there is a floor tile with a dark color? In the dark corridor, you can only see an outline of an object, and you can also distinguish between light and dark. After Xiaojing finished speaking, I immediately took a screenshot and enlarged it. my scalp exploded. Under the electric box at the door of my house, on a piece of floor, there was an irregular dark mass. It was like a dark liquid. Is it blood? If it was hit by the electric box, how could it bleed so much? 403 Xiaoyong, was there this thing at the door when you came home? The electric box is at my door, and I immediately said that I didn't see it when I came back. 403 Xiaoyong, I have called the police. Don't go out. 1. There was a thunder outside the window, and my hands were shaking. A stranger sneaked into this building, and I don't know what the purpose is. If this is really blood at the door, how is 304 Baozi now? Xiaoyong tagged him in the large group of the residential building. 403 Xiaoyong, at 304 Baozi, are you hurt? After a while, 304 Baozi replied in the group, no injury, probably just a little skin broken. If such a large pool of liquid at the door is all blood, Baozi must not be awake. I was editing text in the small group, and Xiaoyong directly opened the microphone in the large group. Isn't the pool of blood at the door of 303 yours? I was shocked. Xiaoyong, as his name suggests, actually asked directly. If it was really the murderer, I wanted to discuss countermeasures behind his back, and I didn't want to anger him so quickly. But now that Xiaoyong has asked, let's see how Baozi answers. I thought Baozi couldn't explain it, but he replied so quickly. What a pool of blood, that's because I hit my head with brown sugar water and it spilled on the ground. It spilled all over me, so I took a shower when I got home. It turned out to be like this. Not only can the dark liquid at the door be explained, but even Xiaojing's statement that she took a shower upstairs makes sense. I breathed a sigh of relief, and the tension that had just been tense relaxed again. On such a rainy night, it is inevitable that you are too nervous and think too much. 403 Xiaoyong and 204 Xiaojing talked about something else. I felt that Xiaoyong and Xiaojing were quite cold today. Usually, the two of them show off their love in the group every day. The couple didn't have a quarrel. Since she started asking Baozi, Main in 301 has not spoken. She is calm and rational, and I don't know what she thinks. Unexpectedly, she privately chatted with me at this time. 301 Main, I just watched the video several times again. I have something to tell you. Hearing her say this, my heart was hanging. 301 Main continued, is there someone under the bed behind you? Seeing this, my legs suddenly became unstable and I almost sat on the ground. I checked several times just now, and there was nothing under the bed. I almost forgot the name of the prank. Now the curse of this Wi-Fi name has appeared again? Buzz. The phone vibrated. It was 204 Xiaojing, the water downstairs has finally stopped. 204 Xiaojing, I just heard someone dragging a stool upstairs. Baozi is always like this. With Xiaojing speaking for Baozi, his suspicion was temporarily cleared. But I have no time to care about the group messages now. I immediately asked 301 Main, is there someone under my bed? I just checked several times and there was nothing. 301 Main, I just watched the screen recording and found that the bed behind you seemed to move. It's not that there is someone under the bed, it's the mattress. A thunderbolt broke through the sky and my scalp exploded. I stood at the door like a petrified man, not daring to move. I checked under the bed so many times, but I always ignored it. The thick mattress can accommodate an adult. The cat has a keen sense of smell and has long discovered that there is something wrong with the bed. That's why it was so stressed. At this moment, it squatted beside me, its eyes still staring at the room motionlessly. In a flash, I figured it all out. The house that I thought was impregnable is now hiding a stranger. The anti-theft net and anti-theft door are all useless. He just hid under the mattress and even changed the Wi-Fi name just to enjoy my fear. This is a complete pervert who may take action at any time, and the consequences are disastrous. I looked around and made a decision almost immediately. Now contact 301 Main and ask her to video chat with me using the same method as before. If there is no one in the corridor, I will open the door and go to her house. 301 is on the side of me, only 4 or 5 meters away, and it will take me only a few seconds to rush over. Even if there is someone in the mattress, it is impossible for them to catch up with me. But just when I was about to contact 301 Main, my phone vibrated again. It was 204 Xiaojing, who tagged me in the group. At 303 Fireworks, I'm here to find you. At 303 Fireworks, I'm here to find you. At 303 Fireworks, I'm here to find you. Xiaojing is coming to find me? 301 Main objected first. No, I don't know what's going on in the building now, stay home and wait for the police to come. But I can already hear the sound of high heels stepping on the corridor. Da, da, da. It's mechanical and dull, and it seems a little heavy. In this quiet rainy night, it is infinitely magnified by the narrow corridor. Not only I heard it clearly, 301 Main also heard it clearly. 301 Main, at 204 Xiaojing, why don't you listen? 204 Xiaojing, I'm a little scared, I want to find Sister Huahua, let's wait for the police together. My mind was in a mess at the moment, and my mental endurance was almost at its limit. I didn't dare to check the mattress. The best way at this moment was to leave. But Xiaojing came to my house. If there was really a conflict, two people against one person seemed to have a better chance of winning. She was much stronger than me. In the past, when we played arm wrestling, I was always firmly crushed by her. The sound of high heels was very fast, and it stopped at the door of my house. 204 Xiaojing, open the door quickly, sister. I am a few months older than her, and this has always been her usual name for me. Looking out through the peephole, it was indeed Xiaojing's face outside. In the dim corridor, her face was too white and her lips were as red as blood. A head of smooth black hair blocked both sides, making her face look narrow and small. It's so late and you haven't taken off your makeup yet? I put my hand on the door handle, wanting to let her in. But at this moment, I received a message from 403 Xiaoyong. Why would he private message me? I added him because of Xiaojing. After becoming friends, he has been lying on the list and never said a word. 403 Xiaoyong, don't open the door. Xiaojing is not right tonight. After saying that, he sent me a screenshot of the chat. It happened just now. In the screenshot, Xiaoyong asked Xiaojing if she would still go if she couldn't buy the ticket to Guangzhou. Xiaojing replied that she would not go. It was a very simple conversation. 403 Xiaoyong sent me a message, but I didn't tell her that I was going to Guangzhou. I felt a chill on my back. Xiaojing outside was still knocking on the door. Dong, dong, dong. The frequency of knocking on the door became faster and faster. I stood behind the door and felt the iron door shaking constantly. Xiaojing sent a message in the group, open the door quickly. I seem to hear someone going up the stairs. Xiaojing is my only friend here. Should I believe what Xiaoyong said and leave her alone outside? I wanted to imitate 301 Main and use my phone to check the situation outside through the small window on the door. But the sound of opening this small window is so loud that it will definitely be discovered by people outside. I was caught in a dilemma. I said to the outside, Xiaojing, the door can't be opened from the inside. Find the place where the spare key is and open the door from the outside. When I said this, my eyes were glued to the cat's eye. The blank face outside did not react at all. I watched her squat down slowly. It was no longer within the cat's field of vision. My heart was cold. The person outside was definitely not Xiaojing. I had always kept the spare key in the electrical box before. After Xiaojing found out, she said it was too dangerous to do so, and I never let it go from then on. The door handle was soaked with my sweat. What was outside? I squatted down slowly. I lay on the ground. There was a narrow gap in the security door. I saw two people standing outside. One was on the side, wearing sports shoes. One was in the middle of the door, wearing Xiaojing's favorite pair of red high heels. At this time, the pair of feet wearing high heels fell to the ground in an extremely twisted posture. I can imagine that there is a man standing outside, holding Xiaojing, standing in front of the cat's eye like a puppet. He is waiting for me to open the door. Bang! There was a loud noise from the iron door. The man didn't hold Xiao Jing, and she fell straight down. A head rolled to the crack of the door and looked at me. I looked at Xiao Jing's lifeless eyes, staring at me motionlessly. My tears flowed down, and I tried my best to endure it, so as not to make a sound. The knocking on the door outside continued, the frequency became faster and faster, and the sound became louder and louder. In the big group. 204 Xiao Jing, sister, open the door quickly. 302 Tiandao, open it for her, it's really noisy. 304 Baozi, I feel the walls are shaking. Only Maine from 301 was still private messaging me, don't open the door. She sent me a photo. The angle was taken from the small window on her door. No wonder I didn't say anything just now, and I took the risk to take pictures. The moment I saw the photo, my chest was choked. The voice-activated lights in the corridor were already on because of the knocking on the door, and the photo was very clear. There was a sticky pool of blood under the electrical box at my door. 2 people stood next to the blood, a very tall man in black, holding an axe in one hand and Xiao Jing in the other. The axe was still dripping with blood, and Xiao Jing was held in his hand like a broken doll. When I saw Xiao Jing's body, tears welled up in my eyes again. The murderer was just outside the door, and I hated that I couldn't go out and cut him into pieces now. In the blurred vision, I suddenly found that the photo seemed a little weird. The man with the axe, although his face was in profile, his eyes were all black, and there was a strange smile on his lips. I immediately sent a message to 301 Maine. He found you. He found you. He has been looking at you with squinting eyes. But for a long time I didn't wait for Maine's message. Only then did I realize that everything was quiet. No one knocked on the door outside. How is Maine? My heart was like being burned by hot oil. I even slapped the security door hard, trying to hear Maine's voice across the street. But there was nothing. It can be seen at a glance from the photo that the water under the electric box at the door is definitely not brown sugar water. Baozi from 304 deceived us. Looking at the bloodstains, Baozi is probably unlikely to survive. His mobile phone has long been in the hands of the murderer. This crazy murderer has killed Baozi from 304 and Xiao Jing from 204. There is no news about Tiandao in 302 and Mian in 301 at this moment, and it is likely that they are in danger. I leaned against the door, listening to the news outside while looking at the room. At this time, Mimi suddenly jumped onto the bed, bit the sheets, and started dragging. It had never done this before. The feeling of uneasiness in my heart became stronger and stronger. The murderer entered the building and was wandering outside at this moment, but I could feel that the person in the mattress seemed to have reached the limit of his patience. It is not possible to go out now, and it is not possible not to go out. Either way, it is death. Knock, knock. Police, you called the police, please open the door. A gentle young man's voice sounded outside the door, like a life-saving straw in despair. I was ecstatic and glanced outside through the cat's eye. A police uniform with a badge on the chest. For 03, Xiaoyong's police finally came. I turned the doorknob while thinking. The moment the click sounded, I immediately thought of the key. No. For 03, Xiaoyong called the police, why did he knock on my door? 2. There was such a big pool of blood at the door, why did the police act as if they didn't see it? I quickly let go of the door handle, and the door lock that had been opened bounced back instantly. Almost at the same time, I felt a huge impact on the iron door. Someone outside was knocking on the door. If I was a moment later, the door would have been knocked open. My hands were numb from the impact, and I stepped back a few steps and fell to the ground. I felt a shadow cast on it. I slowly raised my head. There was a face on the small window above the security door. I could tell at a glance that it was the man with the axe in the photo. He was lying on the small window, looking at me and smiling. Although this small window could never let a person in, the mental impact of this scene was huge. Ah! I screamed madly. He seemed to enjoy my fear very much, and the smile on his face became more and more distorted. Then he left the small window. I listened to his footsteps leaving the corridor and slowly disappearing. My heartbeat was like a drum and it didn't calm down at all. In the extreme fear and despair, I found the clues and the chaotic information. At present, it can be confirmed that the victims are Baozi from 304 and Xiaojing from 204. Baozi from 304 took the initiative to open the door to get takeout, and was ambushed by the murderer at the door and killed with one blow. The murderer entered 304 in this way, but how did he get to 204? The anti-theft door of this residential building is very strong and will not be broken by external force, and there is no loud sound of breaking the door. The windows of this house are all anti-theft nets. How did the murderer get in? In a flash, I thought of a place that I would always ignore. Escape window. It's an escape window. The anti-theft nets of this building have escape windows, which are usually fixed with only one wire, so you can leave quickly in case of fire. Xiaojing from 204 is right below Baozi from 304. District Hand entered 204 and killed Xiaojing in this way. The murderer was wearing a police uniform, and the only policeman in this building was Xiaoyong in 403. Xiaoyong is Xiaojing's husband, and Xiaojing probably has his key. If the murderer entered 403 and got the police uniform, Xiaoyong might have been killed. 403 is right above me. At this moment, using the same method, I can get to my house through the escape window. I turned my head slowly, and saw a person lying outside the security net outside the room. He looked at me with an extremely exaggerated and ugly smile on his face. I don't know when the wire of the escape window broke, and it was opening and closing in the wind and rain. It only took 2 steps to get in through the dark window. At this time, the zipper of the mattress next to it began to open from the inside. The movement was very small, and if I hadn't stared at it, I wouldn't have noticed it at all. Maine was not wrong, there was indeed a person hiding inside, but now it was a life and death moment, and I didn't have time to be too surprised. It was now. It was too late to wait for the police. I could only save myself. The desire to survive surpassed everything at this moment. I quickly stood up from the ground, rushed to the bedside and pulled the curtains to block my view. At the same time, I ran to the kitchen outside and picked up a kitchen knife. He suddenly opened the zipper of the mattress. "Didn't you want to get out? I'll help you." At the moment when the window was violently broken outside, I got under the bed. Watching a pair of wet men's shoes jump in from the windowsill, a strong smell of blood filled the whole room. I tried my best to control my breathing, but I couldn't control my heartbeat, which was almost overloaded because of the huge fear. The man stood in front of the bed. I didn't know if he saw the zipper gap of the mattress now. Seeing him hesitate, I reached the kitchen knife into the mattress from under the bed and stabbed it hard. The mattress immediately bounced violently. The killer was fast. Before I pulled out the kitchen knife, I heard the sound of the axe on the bed. The axeman thought I was hiding inside. But he didn't know. There was someone under the bed. This was my only time. When he unzipped the zipper to check the body, it would be too late. I used the greatest strength of my life to swing the kitchen knife in my hand at the axeman's feet. I only have this one chance. The sound of the kitchen knife cutting into the bone made people's teeth ache. I almost cut off the axeman's ankle. He let out an extremely painful roar and immediately sat on the ground. Without hesitation, I immediately crawled out from under the bed and ran towards the door. I opened the door and went downstairs in one go. I ran on the street in the heavy rain. I ran for a kilometer until I was soaked and exhausted. I called the police with the help of a convenience store owner. When the police car arrived with sirens blaring, I couldn't bear it anymore and passed out. When I woke up again, I was lying on the hospital bed. The doctor said that I was just in a temporary shock due to exhaustion and I could leave after a checkup. My colleagues in the laboratory heard about this and came to visit me. There were many flowers in front of the French window. After I left the hospital, I went to the police station on purpose. I learned that the 2 murderers were targeting me from the beginning. This rainy night was the anniversary of my death they chose for me. Because there will be a sharing session of the crime simulator in 2 days, which is called sharing but actually publishing. This simulator can make a very accurate suspect portrait analysis based on the victim information and on-site survey. For many criminals, it will be more difficult to commit crimes in the future. I don't know who posted my information on the dark web where criminals are active a few days ago, claiming that the source code of the simulator is here. The two habitual criminals decided to kill me. On the one hand, they thought they could destroy the simulator, and on the other hand, they wanted to become famous. The killer wants to receive orders and needs fame. The more neat and tidy the method, the more unsolved the case, and the bigger the order they can receive. Taking advantage of the high popularity of the simulator, both decided to live broadcast their killing process. The most brilliant killer is the one who can make the victim die in extreme fear and despair. The first person decided to hide in the mattress. The second person decided to disguise himself as a delivery man. Unfortunately, the two people were not accomplices, and they were even worried that the other party would snatch the prey, which gave me a glimmer of hope. After the case was solved, I learned that the first victim was Xiaoyong from 403. The number one murderer in the mattress broke into 403, killed Xiaoyong, came to my house through the escape window, and hid in the mattress for a day and a night. Xiaoyong's mobile phone has also been in this person's hands. He changed the Wi-Fi name of 403 just to show off his skills in the live broadcast. He was confident that even if I found him, he could kill me. The second killer who appeared later chose to kill me on the same day as him. That's why he specifically reminded us of the blood under the electric box at the door and asked me not to go out. He was afraid that the prey would be snatched away by others. But he also found that the live broadcast of the murder attracted the attention of many sponsors because of the appearance of the second killer. He was confident that the second killer would never come in, and wanted to pull the fear to the extreme before killing me, but he dug his own grave. The second killer took advantage of 302's going out and killed him at the construction site. Then he got the key of 302, but he didn't expect that there was no place to stay outside the house of 302, so he couldn't get to my house at all. He had to pretend to be a takeaway man to trick me into opening the door. Bowsy 304 opened the door to get the takeaway, and was killed on the spot. Then he brought the body into room 304 and washed the blood on his body with water. It was discovered that the escape window of room 304 could lead to Xiaojing's home in room 204. After entering room 204, Xiaojing was killed, so Xiaojing suddenly changed her words to Baozi in room 304. The second murderer then carried Xiaojing's body to trick me into opening the door, but was discovered by Main in room 301. The second murderer chopped off Main's hand that was stretched out of the window. The phone and arm fell to the ground. Main fainted on the spot because of the severe pain, so he did not reply to the message later. The second murderer got the key of Xiaoyong's home from Xiaojing in room 204 again and entered room 403. He stole the police uniform and wanted to trick me into opening the door, but I didn't fall for it. He had to give up the live broadcast effect and use the same method to enter my house through the escape window. But he accidentally met the first murderer in the mattress. He saw the zipper open, and the mattress moved, so he chopped it down without hesitation. All the coincidences came together to save my life. But the lives of Xiaoyong in 403, Tiandao in 302, Baozi in 304, Xiaojing in 204, and the hand of Main in 301 can never be recovered. I was depressed for a long time, and once thought that everything I did was worthless. I thought about that night countless times. If I did this, if I did that, what would the result be? If I didn't live here, what would the result be? I was stupid, I was too stupid, I hurt everyone. On the day when the second murderer was sentenced to death, Main was discharged from the hospital. Her arm was replaced with a mechanical hand, which was equally sensitive and dazzling in the sunlight. She deliberately wore short sleeves and claimed that she had become a mecha warrior. I was very sad. Without her help that night, I would have died long ago, but what I brought to her was a lifelong disability. Facing her joke, I could only force a smile. She pulled my face and said, "To be honest, forcing a smile is uglier than a ghost." We went to the cemetery together to sweep the graves of 5 neighbors. The weather was nice, with a slight breeze. After that night, there was no more heavy rain. Maine seemed to be trying to comfort me, using her mechanical arms to place the offerings, showing her flexibility. She looked up and smiled sincerely. We all know that this is not your fault. There is nothing wrong with fighting crime, but the sin is wrong. I don't know what your invention is, but I heard that it can save many people. No one can hide in the dark anymore, and no one will be under the bed anymore. That's good. She raised her hand and saluted me seriously. My eyes were full of tears, and I saluted her back. Under the sun, there were dazzling spots of light. It was illuminating every dark place. The end.